Jennifer, it's
good. I am so happy to have you here. You know, we talk about from surviving to thriving, and I love having guests come on and talk about their journey from surviving to thriving, because I think it's a beacon of hope for survivors. And I think it is eye-opening for the people who love survivors to hear the story from somebody else's point of view other than their loved one. So they can say, wow, this isn't unique to my loved one. This is, you know, other survivors go through these same things, these same challenges, and have these same aspirations. So I love this. And how it originally got started was when I was in the volunteer coordinator's office at the jail. I was volunteering at a local jail for kids, and I was talking, and I had really I hadn't told my story publicly. But when I went in and they were asking me questions about my life, you know, they had done the background check, but now they wanted to talk to me and get a feel for me. And when they asked me about my life, I had made a commitment to God that I wouldn't keep anything close to the vest. I would be transparent, and I would just tell them my truth. And, you know, they either let me in or they kick me out. So I did, and, right?
yes.
So I did. I told my truth, and some of the correctional officers and staff were crying. And I didn't understand why they were crying. And they explained to me that in the work that they do with victimized children who are now incarcerated, they rarely see a happy ending. And so it was so beautiful for them to meet someone who had a story like mine. And there's, gosh, and yours, I was reading yours, amazing. That was able to get to the other side of the bridge, the other side into thriving. And when I was doing my weekly Zooms with homes of sex trafficked women, we would have these speakers like you come, and it was so great. And I'm like, boy, I want other survivors to hear. I want people who love survivors to hear this, but for anonymity purposes, we couldn't do that. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll do a side Zoom and bring those people on that have these amazing stories as a beacon of hope and understanding for others. So that's sort of how it came about. And then when I saw you on social media, and we have the same friends and we're like-minded, and you gifted me with sharing me a part of your book is it out yet, or is it coming out?
It's coming out.
Coming out. And I read your just like first chapter, right? And I was like, holy mackerel, this is just so typical of the domino effect of early childhood neglect and abuse. It is just a domino. This is what happens. So classic. And what isn't classic, much like the correctional officers and staff at jail, is your beautiful ending. So I want to shut up, and I want to just give you the microphone and say, hey, tell us what happened, and what was the journey into surviving like, and how did you get to the point of this beautiful, thriving individual that we have before us? Here's the microphone.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Catherine. I really honor it's just such an honor, you know, to feel and to receive that gift, to be here today and sharing that moment with people who love helping surviving, and for survivors who really need to hear that story, that they are not alone, that there are so many people in this world who have the same story, who have been through all this stuff before them, and they are not alone. And today, being here with you, and you created that space that really bring that hope and that safe space, because it's very important for them to feel safe.
Right.
Because when you are safe, you open yourself to give yourself truly, to give you weakness, to give you vulnerability, to give you fears. And this is what's happened when we are like a young girl and boy, when we feel completely naked in terms of emotion. We don't choose, we are going through this process. And so we close ourselves and we feel completely that this is normal.
Yeah.
But this is not. So I am very happy.
What is your earliest childhood memory? When I was reading your book about you living with your mom in such extreme poverty, and you know, I'm so glad that what has come up in science is the adverse childhood experiences. If people want to Google adverse childhood experiences and see what the Center for Disease Control and Kaiser Permanente did, what she's about to tell you is so classic of what happens to a young person when they are born into this extreme poverty. You know, and that all of the things that happened, it was amazing. Your story was so amazing, how you went from, you know, neglect, physically having it be so bitterly cold and sub-zero outside Fahrenheit and maybe no more than 10 degrees inside. The way you talked about the frost on the glass, and the when it was so cold, how the frost would make faces, beautiful designs. And even in that moment of being so hungry and so cold, you found beauty in what you saw on the frost.
Yes, oh my goodness, it was, you know, in that moment, it was, you didn't have time to think about what's going on around you. You just wanted to free yourself for a little moment to just see what's the beauty around. So you are, you know, you are just like a child. You are a child, so you just want to play. So your own way of expressing your beauty, to see the beauty, you are creating that. And it's yeah. So very quickly, coming back to my story, I was born in Poland in very, very, you know, very poor family, and we grew in Poland. So it was in the communistic period. So in general, it was nothing in shopping center. It was no shopping center. It was just a little shop stuff. And my mom was very, very poor, and she was addicted to alcohol. So during that moment, like a little girl, I really had to went through different stuff. I had to take care of my little brother, not because I have to, because I feel responsible. I feel that, you know, when you came outside and you feel that your little baby, because we have five years difference. So I was 5 years old, 6 years old, and he was little baby. So I had to take care of him. I had to learn how to prepare veggies, how to prepare his food, because when my mom was drunk for so many days, I had to take care of him. So, you know, it's in that moment, like a little girl, I was experiencing so much shame, not only for my for asking for food, because sometimes we don't have money to buy some bread, buy something to eat. So I had to ask to neighbors to buy some food. So I had to ask. So can you imagine the shame I experienced this moment? And in the same time, I had this shame I had to protect my mom, because I don't want it that someone else can see that she is drunk. So I was responsible for her. I had to take care of different stuff, but in the same time, I was just this little girl who just wanted to play. So anytime I was seeing in this middle of this moment of fear, because it was a lot of fear every single day when I came back to school, I just cried God in front of the door. Oh my God, I hope today it's gonna be okay. I hope that she's not drunk, because it was always lots of men inside of my home, and it was very strange situation sometimes. And in that moment, it was like when I hear these voices of people and I smell this cigarettes, and I just smell, like a vodka smell comes through that door to my nose. I feel completely frozen. And in that moment, the only one thing which came to my mind is I had to take care of my little brother. And when I just bring him with me and I went outside, I just, you can still stay in fear. But in that little teeny moment, I bring him, we went outside. So I changed my face. I wanted to play with him. I changed his stuff because it was not very clean every time. And in that moment, we went outside, and it's really provided this moment of connection of life. We go to nature. We went through just enjoying, So for a little moment, it was always this moment of just being present to this moment of life. And this is what lots of children are going through when you are so much in fear, so much in of abusing situation. You don't have choice to lift off of your mind of this and to be present to what life is offering you outside, because you need to breathe. And in that moment, and because of my faith, whenever, for me, it's God, and it's different ways of having faith in something. And I think it really helps me in different moments in my life journey. And especially in that moment when I was sexually abused, when I was 7 years old. So it was little like, you have to hide it for a moment, but you never hide it for all your life experience. Because
let me ask you about that. How did you, so your mom was a mildly functioning alcoholic. So she did get work, but she had many jobs. She would lose her job and get another job and get another job. And then she would entertain various men in your apartment, horrific physical abuse that you witnessed your mom being beaten. The men would get done with her, and at least one time sexually abused you. So in these moments of joy, when you're able to be a child, if not for yourself, then for your little brother, what is your first memory of God? Who told you who God was? How did you even have a concept of God?
My mom, I had a
Baptism?
Baptism, yes. Thank you for the word. I have a baptism. So every week I went to the church. So
Yeah.
my aunt, my different person who was already in that path. So I had this. I really have someone shows me the way.
Yeah.
So we didn't practice that every time, but because I really have this opportunity one day that someone brings me to this church and tell me, anytime you're gonna pray, your praise can be what you ask for God, you will receive it, but you just need to believe it.
Yes.
You need to ask for it.
So when you ask for it and you believe you are connected to God because you've been taught that, and you've chosen to believe that because that is an opportunity for hope,
Yes.
And so you make that choice because you want hope. I totally get it. I did the same thing. So now you're being sexually abused, and I'm asking this for a specific reason, because sometimes children, boys and girls, when they are being sexually abused, sometimes they pray and ask God to not let that happen again, or they'll pray, please make him stop or her stop, and it doesn't, or it happens repeatedly, sometimes very violent. Then the children believe that God isn't real, or God is mad at them, or somehow they're unworthy for God to protect. And they sort of do this spiral down. Not all, I didn't do that, but many people, understandably, from a child's perspective, does. So where were you? You've connected to God. You have this hope. You have your childlike joy in the moments where it's safe to have it. You're being sexually abused at 7 years old by this awful man who was finished with your mother and now starting on you. And your mother is really too drunk to help you. You're saying, please help me. And she's able to come to consciousness enough to say, get out of my house, and then, back down into drunken unconsciousness. Did you have an association with God then that he had abandoned you? Or how were you able to keep that connection? Did you keep that connection?
I absolutely love what you say, because in that moment, I don't, and in that specific moment, I didn't really feel connected to anything.
Yeah.
I feel completely empty.
Mm-hmm.
I felt shame. I felt anger. I wanted just to disappear. I feel completely, in that specific moment, you are in such deep level of fear. You are experiencing this deep level. So with truth, I didn't ask God for help in that moment. I was processing. I just was
What's happening?
It's happening. I was protecting my body. I wanted to push that man. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream, but I feel like little animal. I feel like I feel dirty. I just feel lost.
Yeah.
And I cried. And I feel like, wow. And and it's okay. I tell you, it's okay. It's okay in moment, because you can't control what's happening in that moment. You can't be in your mind. You're in survival instinct.
Yeah.
So you protect what you have the most to protect, like take a breath.
Yeah.
So in that moment, it's felt hurt, this deep hurt that you have to face, and it's new for you.
Yeah.
And especially for children who have this repetition of this.
Right. Right. So when your mom said, get out of my house, was that the first time that she protected you? Was she a mom, even though she didn't bring you enough food or enough heat? Did you feel like she loved you and that she tried to protect you, but she was just sick? What was your perspective on her?
In that moment, I hate her. I hate her because I heard just before he was doing with me, I heard everything what's going on just before.
Yeah.
So
when she was being sexual with him.
Absolutely. So I heard everything. So then I just already that I feel not comfortable. I had to, to protect myself. And in that moment when he came to me and when we processing this what's going on, so I feel like it was, oh no, I couldn't believe it's happening, And in that moment when you are experiencing this, I just feel this moment of hate for her. I just feel angry with her.
Yeah.
And especially the next day when she never talked about it anymore.
Did he ever come back? I wondered that in your story. Was he allowed to come back into the house?
Never. It was, never. But it was just, it was probably just someone she meets in. So that's why.
Yeah. A one night stand, just someone that she picked up and brought home.
Exactly.
So when you are in the orphanage, the children's home, I wondered if you ever got adopted or if you stayed there until you were mature.
You know, it was that's why it's I feel like since I was little girl already, I already was in orphanage when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
So in that moment, someone wanted to adopt me in that specific moment. So I went to this family when I was little girl. I stayed there for 6 months, and then my mom, she changed her mind, and she that's no, I changed my mind. I would love my children come back to home.
Yeah.
So I came back to home, and then when I was 8, 9 years old, I came back to orphanage because it was a 3 days. She never be back home, so we didn't have food. So, but what's the most important in the journey, that even if you are going to orphanage, even if you are experiencing this next level of fear, of shame, of adapting yourself, of leaving one home to another home, because I feel like that I never had really a home like a little girl.
Right.
I always moved every time.
Yeah.
It was 3 times per orphanage. I moved to one family, I came back home, I came back to another family. But what's the most beautiful, that I really want to provide this feeling that even if I went through all the different situations, it was always someone who helped me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who brings me support, who brings me food every single month, when even if I've been back home, the man, my uncle Jan, every single month brings me food, brings me some chocolate, brings me some money to buy my little shoes or something like that. So I feel that someone was protecting me.
Yeah.
Not me, but me, like my little brother. That's
right.
And that's why when I express this, that there is something beyond that. Even if I am experiencing all this experience since my childhood, it was arriving for me.
Right.
God preparing me for something else I didn't know yet, because like a little child, I didn't think about this like that.
What I love about you is, so there are so many people who, same situation, and the way their mind, the way their eyes see it is, life is bad. People are bad. Only bad things happen to me. Life will never be better. People will never be kind. I will never be in a good situation. I might as well hurt them before they hurt me, take from them before they take from me. There was a lady at a Tony Robbins event who had been raped one time in another country. This was Date with Destiny 2017. And Tony worked with her for like 45 minutes. And she just didn't get it. She just felt like, and I was thinking, raped one time, that's nothing, and I just, you meet people who've had some bad things happen and they're devastated the rest of their life. You can meet people who've had just awful, awful, awful things happen, and you see them and they're smiling, they have, and I make up that is a choice. That is, a decision to say, okay, I choose to believe that the world is conspiring for my highest and best every second of every day. Look how I was brought food. Look how every house I went, they were kind to me and they gave me clothes and shoes. Look how the universe gave me an uncle that would come every month to give me money, bring me chocolate, bring me food, and help me get shoes and clothes. So what you're focusing, what is it? The glass half full, half empty, even as a young age, even as a young age. And I wonder if people are just born that way. I don't know, but what I make up is that it is a choice. It's a
Yeah.
choice to say, whether or not it's true, I'm choosing to believe this, because when I believe this, I live in a happier world in my mind, and I am happier, I am healthier.
Absolutely true. Because outside world, it's always something happening to us. It's always something happening. But what we produce, what we nourish every single day, what we decide it's the best for us in each experience we receive from life, we always have a choice to see what's wrong or to see what I can learn from it and how I can use that experience to serve me, to serve my children, to serve my community, to serve, and to have courage to own your choice. You can always be victim of something, you know. You can always see that, oh my goodness, I don't have enough this, I don't have enough this, but you are still alive.
Right.
You are still this opportunity to show up for yourself and to choose and to ask for help, especially to this world today. We have internet, we have no excuses, we have access to everything online, and when we are brave enough to ask for help, we're gonna receive that help. There is so much people who are lover to help people. They are people who are ready to be themselves, to share their stories, to support other people. And this is how every child who are going through this difficult time today, you can use your story. You can use your beautiful sad experience from one moment, but this experience can become your gift, because the most beautiful way why I am who I am today, because I choose to look differently in my life. Right. I choose to invest my chance. Can you see? I didn't speak French when I moved from Poland to France. I was 14 years old. I wrote a letter for my father. I never met my father before. He spoke French. I speak Polish. So I didn't know how to communicate with him. But what I learned from this experience, when I meet the first time and meet my father, I just believed that one day I'm gonna meet him. I just wanted to see his face. And when I meet, we didn't speak the same language, so we spoke with hand, you know. But what's the most beautiful in this? That you are born to learn and to progress. And you will always find the way, you will always find this resourcefulness inside of you to communicate, because it says your energy who communicate. That's why you believe, this is who you become. What you practice every day, what you do every day, how you communicate, who you choose to be with. This is how you create your new identity. Right. Your past doesn't equal your future.
Right. So at 14, when you met your father, did you stay with him? Did you move in and live with him? And what about your brother? Where did he go?
Oh, yeah, this is like my mom, she had different men, so she had 4 different children with 4 different men. So my little brother was my half brother.
Yeah.
So it was a very big choice for me. What's the most important learning? You will always have a choice. You have to make a decision every time when you are going through difficult times. When you ask for something to God, to universe, to what you believe. When you ask for something, be ready for receiving that. Be ready. It means sometimes you have to face challenges too. And this is what's happening when I was 14. When I was 11, I started writing a letter for my dad. And I didn't know where he was living in France. So if it's done, if it's okay, it's okay. And if you will write me back, it's okay. But when I received that letter 3 months later, I was so happy. And I didn't realize that when he asked me for bringing me with him living in France, it's really done just for me, not for my little brother. So when this moment arrived, I was facing again a fear. I have to choose if I'm gonna leave my little brother, who's I spend the most of my life. I teach him how to learn, how to read, how to write. I feed him. I bring him to church. I did everything. I was his mom,
Yes.
It was my pleasure to.
Yes. Yes.
And in that moment, when you have to decide you want to follow your father and you leave your little brother in orphanage, what you have to do? I was crying one night.
Yes.
I was crying because I asked for something, but I had to assume the consequences of that choice. But again, I prayed God, and I had this vision that if I move with my father, one day I'm gonna be able to help him. And I promised him, Jacek, I'm gonna move with my dad. It's so important for me, but I promise you I will be back. I will bring you with me. So of course it was very hard to this separation, but it was the most beautiful gift. That's why where I am today, it's because of this decision.
Yeah.
Any decision you make in your journey, when you have this highest vision, that even if you don't see it yet, you just have faith that decision you take, it's for this highest good, for something more than just yourself. But you have to at first serving yourself first. You have to take that decision, facing your fear, and move to this next right move and next right step.
Yes.
And this is what brings me to France when I was 14. So I moved to France, completely new, different country, different language, different cultures, where everything was there. But I feel lost because I didn't have connection with my father. He didn't know how to communicate with me. I was expecting he will love me like that, but he was so introvert. He never expressed his feeling. So I had to learn new language. I moved from 14 years old. When you was 14, you are in 7th grade in school. So I have to move 3 years back. So I was spending my school life journey with 11 years old children. So can you imagine?
Yes.
When you're a teenager, you want to, but you have to be like a little baby girl yet. So I have this to process all of this. And I didn't speak language very well, so I felt I was always alone. So I spent a lot of time reading books and doing sport. It was my liberation moment. Mm-hmm. And why I tell you that? Because even if I moved with my father, 3 months later, my father told me, if you want to come back to Poland, because I was sad, I feel sad because I had to, because of this separation with my little brother, and I didn't really feel loved in my home, because my stepmom, she was very cold, they work all day, so I was always alone, and we had this barrier of language. So when I received this letter 3 months later from my father, he gave me a translator, the book, because we didn't have internet yet, so I have to translate each word by myself, in which she wrote me, if you want to come back to Poland, I will give you back, but you will never hear about me anymore. So you have 1 week to take your decision. And in that moment, it was probably another big decision for me, what I have to do right now. So I told myself, okay, I cried. But in that moment, I asked God, what's the best decision for me right now? So I just thought about my brother. This is how I went through to all of this stuff. And when I was 18, my father told me, go out of my home. So I was homeless again. So that's why, it's always something happening for you for a reason. And I didn't realize during that lifetime, during this period, of course, it was hard sometimes. I had to face so many times fear, but this is the most beautiful way for me to learn how to take some decision for myself, how to become resilient, how to see the beauty in the middle of the darkest moment. That's why I went to sport, because it frees my soul. That's why I loved read books, because it provided me that nourishment I needed in that moment. I helped in little it was a little organization in my town, and I went to this organization to help other people. So we organized different stuff. So what I want to tell you right now, it's you always have a choice. You always have a choice to see what I can do with what I have right now, what I can do the best I can with what I have, what I can learn, what help I can ask for. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard to ask for help, because I just wanted to be heard again. So I tried to do my every stuff by myself, but it's not easy to do your stuff by yourself.
Right. So when your father said you can stay or you can leave, but if you leave, I'll never see you again, you decided to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at 18, he didn't give you the choice. He said, get out.
Yes.
Where did you go from there? Did you go back to Poland?
No, he told me that for specific reason, because I was 18, so I had my little boyfriend, so it's sometimes we wanted to see each other.
Yeah.
And they told me my home is not a hotel.
Yeah.
So you are an adult now, so you have to choose. So if you want to choose to have your today
freedom with your boyfriend, right?
But I feel guilty, and in the same time, another decision in my life. Right. I want to stand for myself. Now I know that it's not correct for me to stay in that place where I have to always show that if I am worthy for that.
Right. So what happened to your brother? Are you staying in contact with him?
And that's why my book, it's Never Give Up and Live the Life of Your Dreams, because today my brother is living in French Caribbean island with me.
Yeah.
He has his own company. He has his beautiful family. And just because I had this vision one day that I'm gonna help him.
Yeah.
And just helping one soul in your life journey, you can transform. You can create the ripple effect of this.
It's true. Yes.
And and because of this journey, I chose to become a coach. I'm a teacher. I teach people how to love, how to move from fear to love, because I went through the journey. Yeah. And this is the most beautiful way, because of this journey, I have something to offer. The most beautiful, authentic way of free people from this old stories.
Yes.
To help them vibrating life, to help them to choosing joy,
right,
to choosing authenticity. And this is how I learned language for English. 4 years ago, I didn't speak English yet. And this is because I meet Tony Robbins' book. This is how we meet, Yeah. This is the beauty, all of that.
Your other siblings, you said there were 4 children, including you, right? So 4 all. Where is everyone? So you and your brother in the French Caribbean.
Yes, and they are still in Poland. We have contact, but we are not so in proximity, because I've been already in France. Yeah. I've been 17 years old when other girl came to this world, so I didn't really have connection. So we have contact. Yeah. But
what happened to your mom? Is she still alive?
She's dead in 2009. And it's another beautiful experience you will learn later in my book. I describe it. It was one of the most important lessons in my life about forgiveness. Forgiveness, especially for people who come from that place of survivors. If you are not allow yourself to forgive for those who hurted you, if you are not allow yourself to let it go, this feeling of pain from the past, you will always feel like a prisoner. You will always stay attached to these memories on that moment. And this is the most beautiful way. I tell you that because the forgiveness for me was very important step for my own growth, for my own liberation, for moving from fear to love. If you don't allow yourself to forgive them and to forgive yourself, because the most hurt you have, if you don't forgive, you hurt yourself always. And you beat yourself, and you don't feel worthy, and you don't feel you are not good enough because it's happening for you every time. And forgiveness really, before my mom passed, I went to Poland. I meet her. I spent, it's like I told her mom, you give me life. And she told me, my girl, I'm so upset for everything I did for you, but I always loved you. And I told her, I know you love me. The most important gift you give me, my mom, it's you give me life. You give me this courage to show up, stand up for myself. And of course, it was not always easy. Sometimes I feel a little angry with you, but it's done. It's done. Now I understand what you went through in your own life. Now I am an adult and I can feel what you went through. You was hurted in your life. So I don't want to judge you anymore. I just want you can live in peace. So I can be, and I can change so many things in this life experience to help other children, to help other women to free themselves. And this is what I promised my mom and myself to do. And this is the most beautiful lesson that I learned. This lesson, this power of real forgiveness, this freedom to my body, this freedom to express my feeling, this freedom to be and let it be what it is in each moment, not trying to make it perfect, to just allowing people to experiencing. Because if you don't experience and if you don't allow, you will don't have that space, that safe space to let it go. And this is the most beautiful lesson we have to offer to everyone who is going through this process, or who want to, how I get from there to there. Allow yourself to feel and to forgive. And you will see, and if you don't know how to do that, ask for help. You are not alone. You are not alone.
Are you in a relationship? Do you have children?
Yes, I have two children. I have two children, Leah and Kellyanne. They are 13 and 16 years old. And I was in a relationship for 18 years with my husband, but I decided to leave that relationship recently.
Yeah.
And it was another big decision for myself, for him, and for my children. When you are not aligned anymore in the same vision, when you are not in the same path, sometimes you feel you judge someone. Sometimes you try to change someone. But what I learned during all this journey, that sometimes one chapter closed, and you have to close the chapter with integrity, with love, with respect, not judging, not making someone else feel hurted and to make him responsible. You have to take your own choice to follow your path, and to just celebrating and honoring what this person brings to you during all this experience journey, And this is how we are separate. We are still married because we are going through this divorce. But when you take that decision, before I take that decision, I still experiencing fear. That's why I will tell you, there is no perfection. We are human being. We are not human doing, and we are not perfect machine.
Right.
That there is always be fear. But when you take awareness that you can use your fear, this energy of fear, and use that for something greater, something that will serve everyone, not only you, your ego, but something that will serve you, your worthiness, what you stand for, and in the same time, the respect for someone else, not judging, not criticizing, just because it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And when you experience that fear in your life, that means that you are facing something new. You have your new challenge. So what you will learn in that experience for yourself and for your community, for your family. And if you are aligned with your vision, if your intention is love and service and appreciation, even if you have to separate with someone, people will feel your authenticity, even if it's hard. But it's better to be truth for yourself and to him, instead of lying yourself on to put your mask and you don't see anything because it's comfortable, you know. And it was
So
my
how can people find you? So if someone, you do coaching, do you do groups? Do you do groups as well?
Yes.
And how can people reach out to you? How can they find you?
They can find me on, I am actually working on my English website. It's gonna be done in 3 weeks from now. I have my French website. If not, actually, they can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. And you know, it's so easy. It's Sev Jaunasse on Facebook, Sev Joy Jaunasse on Instagram. So it's, you know, people, what you stand for, people, you always attract the tribe who are aligned and who are ready for your message. And if that's why people always find me, even if I don't have an English website yet, you know. But this is exactly the way I am working. I am working on group, on lots of one-on-one, but now more and more on group. And the next one, it will be in July, so I'm gonna post it.
And what will the July group be about?
From fear to love. It's gonna be a 6 weeks coaching group from fear to love.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
Is there anything else that you think is important for people who are on the journey from facing their wounds, facing their past, as you so eloquently said, you know, feel it, accept it, and stay on your healing journey? What else would you like them to know?
I really would love them to know that you are worthy what you allow yourself to be, what you allow yourself to feel every single day. Whatever happens outside, when you truly develop this habit to connect daily with yourself, to take time to be grateful for what you have, to be grateful for who you become on your journey. This experience of feeling inside will feed you in the darkest moment. Believe me, sometimes just when I was experiencing that fear, just this moment of just closing my eyes and going in nature, hearing these little birds, walking in the middle of the trip, and just calming my mind, I just surrender, because I am worthy of love. I am child of God. I am just here for my purpose of just living my most beautiful life. And I just not ask you, but I just allow yourself just to feel that you are worthy, but nobody can do it for you. The day I decided I am worthy of love, because I am just love. I was born like a little baby with love, I was just wanted to breathe. I just wanted to enjoy life. This is my experience, brings me to experiencing that and to grow and to come back to love. So feel worthy, that start within you right now. And the second tips, believe in something bigger. Have dreams. Don't be afraid of dreaming bigger. It's like, did you know probably Walt Disney? This is for me, it's the most important. If you have a dreams, even if people will laugh about it, it's not your stuff, it's not your job. Just follow your truth, follow your passion. If you have a passion for something, follow your heart. This is your time here. It's only one shot. Follow your heart, feel worthy. And if you don't know what to do, ask for help. If you ask for help, everybody will help you, because they will feel your authenticity. They will feel your hunger for more. And when you have hunger for more, when you will have this hunger for help someone else and to be you, not with your mask, just be you, the doors will open like this. I promise you. And I am this living truth, because I went through different stage. And I'm still learning. I still have fear, because I am just a human being. But I am so proud of being worthy. I chose people with who I want to spend my time with. I chose to serving people today, because I've been in orphanage. I support orphanages. I help the children. We do Zoom. We teach them how to believe in their dreams, how to feel worthy. And this is freaking awesome. I am so proud of it. So be proud of it. Be proud of your journey. Turn your mess into a message. And this is your greatness to this world. So just believe in your worth, and everything will transform like this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I will put your website when you get it up. I'll put your French one in now, because other people will, and we'll put your American when you get it. And also, whenever you're going to have one of your workshops, let us know, and I'll put it on the Stop Trafficking US website, or our Facebook page, and they can, we'll definitely share what you're doing with others. You're a beautiful soul, and what a gift it is to have you here, and what a gift for me to be able to share you with others. So we will definitely do that. Thank you so much. I just really
you so much, Kathleen.
Appreciate you. We just gonna.
And every time you need some, every time if I can help and support, if you have a little workshop, if you want me to jump in, it's for children. It's really such a gift for me to be there and to really bring them the real tips in life, in real. It's
absolutely. Let me just stop this.